What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 beliefs that are keeping you stuck exactly where you are and what you need to change in order to move past it. Let's get started. All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Zach Vaught. And if you don't know me, I started my woodworking business in my garage in 2017 and eventually scaled that business to over $75,000 per month after failing and trying and figuring stuff out along the way, but eventually built a team, moved into a commercial space, a 6,600 square foot commercial space, and a showroom, and sold that business for multiple 6 figures. And I help guys just like you also grow their custom furniture and woodworking business all across North America and across the world. And so with that, this may be one of the most important videos that you ever watch if you're serious about growing your custom furniture business or your woodworking business, because it's not just the X's and the O's, but it's the mindset behind actually breaking through your barriers and breaking through the limits that are keeping you stuck. And I'll just be the first to say that if you don't get this right, nothing else actually matters. You have to figure out how to break your limiting beliefs, and you have to figure out how to get unstuck and start progressing forward with what you believe to be possible. And so in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 beliefs that are keeping you stuck, and here's number 1. Number 1 is that money just isn't that important. You hear all the time people say that money's not everything, and I will absolutely agree with them that money is not everything. Your relationships, your relationship with God, being a husband, being a father, those things are more important than money. However, most people that I usually hear saying that money isn't everything, they typically aren't making the kind of money that they need to make or that they want to make. They're usually struggling financially, if we were to be honest. And so I agree that money isn't everything, but I think it's not actually used in a way that's a positive reinforcer. I think a lot of times it's used to justify our inaction. It's used to justify why we're not taking steps. It's used to justify why we're not growing our business. Well, money's not everything. And so if we can believe that, then we won't push ourselves to grow a business that is there to provide for our family, right? And so I agree that money's not everything, but when we believe that money isn't important, we're lying to ourselves. Money is not everything, but it's super important, guys. When you can go to the store and get what you need to get and not worry about the price, when your kids need new shoes, when your kids want to join the sports league and you got to pay whatever it looks like for them to join and order the uniform, money gives you options. And when you have no money, you have no options. When you have no money, a lot of times you can't experiment to take your business or your life to the next level. To just say that money isn't important or money's not everything, I think a lot of times it's just a cop-out to justify why you're not taking the action that's necessary to actually go where you're trying to go. That's number 1. Number 2, second belief that's keeping you stuck is that you have plenty of time. Let me just tell you, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed anything. And so one of the things that I know about successful people is that successful people move fast and break things often. What I think a lot of us have an unhealthy relationship with failure, which I'm going to get into a little bit more here in just a second. But because of that, we don't want to make any mistakes, which slows us way down. And when we move slow, it takes us way longer than it should to reach our goals. Elon Musk says you should take your 6-year goals and you should try to compress it into 6 months and see what happens. Even if you can't achieve it in 6 months, you're going to be way closer than had you given yourself 6 years, right? And so you need to move fast. You need to move quickly. If you believe that you have plenty of time, the time is going to pass you by and you're not going to make any progress. And so you need to create some urgency within yourself. This is another thing that I see it with high performers on a consistent basis, is that they have the ability to create their own urgency. There's nothing else in the world that's telling them that they got to go do this thing, but they create self-imposed deadlines and they hold themselves to a higher standard than the world holds them to. And this is actually the only way that you get ahead of the 99%. If you want to be in the 1%, you have to act like the 1%, and you have to stop acting like the 99%, which the 99% is uninspired. They go work their day job, they come home, they lay around on the couch, they never actually take steps to build their own thing, right? And so if you're not taking steps and if you're not moving fast, that's a limiting belief that's keeping you stuck. Okay, number 3, here's number 3. And I hear this all the time, my brain just doesn't work that way. Let's say, for example, you're trying to start a woodworking business and you love talking about tools and you love talking about wood and you love talking about building things. Can I just tell you, that is not all that running a woodworking business is composed of. You have to learn how to keep the books. You have to learn how to build a website or find somebody that can. You have to learn how to run ads or find somebody that can. You have to learn how to sell, how to interact with upset customers. You have to learn how to do all these other things that you didn't anticipate when you set out to start a woodworking business because you loved woodworking, right? And as soon as you say, I can't do that because my brain doesn't work that way, you just give yourself an excuse to stay stuck. That is a pitiful excuse to not do what is necessary or what is required to get where you're trying to go. You have to be able to look at your business and say, what is the goal? What am I trying to accomplish? If I could have my way, what would I have? I would have a $20,000 per month woodworking business. I would quit my job and I would go and I would do this thing full time. If you look at that and that's the goal, but then your next response when it comes to doing something hard or doing something that you don't understand is my brain doesn't work that way. That is the thing that's going to keep you from reaching your goal. And so let me just remind you, nobody is coming to save you. No one's going to show up at your front door and hand you your hopes and dreams on a silver platter. You got to go get it, right? You got to make it happen. And no one is going to fight for your business or promote your business the same way that you are, right? Nobody cares like you're going to care. So you have to be willing to do things you've never done before in order to get results that you've never gotten before. And so when it comes to my brain doesn't work that way, that's a pitiful excuse. It's a pitiful cop-out to keeping yourself exactly where you are, and you're not going to make any progress, and you're going to just beat your head against that thing as opposed to you just getting on YouTube like this and learning how to do it. If it's building a website, if it's running QuickBooks, sales, no matter what the topic is, there's so many free resources on this platform right now that you can hop on and you can learn. But most people get intimidated and are afraid, so they never take the step. They, instead of just diving into it and actually learning and getting better, they just make up this limiting self-belief of my brain doesn't work that way, and they stay stuck for the next 20 years. They're the same person 10 or 20 years from now that they are today, which is a terrifying thought. I don't want to be the same person 10 years from now that I am today. I want to be way better. And as soon as you say, my brain doesn't work that way, you're giving yourself this sorry excuse to stay where you are. Okay? That's number 3. Hey, I interrupt this video real quick to let you know about our Win Your Money Back challenge that we currently have going on inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. We have never eliminated the risk to joining quite like this. And the reason that we're doing this is that we have found that there's a few things that all of our most successful clients have done. And so if you come into the Woodworking Business Accelerator program and you do a couple things that we know are going to generate results for you, and you generate just $5,000 in new custom furniture sales as a result of the program, we're going to give you all of that money back, right? We're literally going to give you your money back to incentivize you to do the necessary action to drive results. And so click the link below, check out the Win Your Money Back challenge. There's never been a better time to join with less risk than right now. So be sure to check that out. And with that, let's jump back in the video. Number 4, this one may be the most important one, and it's that feeling stupid is worse than death itself. For most of us, we are terrified of feeling inadequate. We're terrified of feeling dumb. We're terrified of feeling like we don't know what we're doing. That's why we always just keep doing the things that we're good at, and we never learn the things that we're not good at. Because that feeling of feeling inadequate, that feeling of I don't know what I'm doing, I feel stupid, most people are more afraid of that than they are anything else in life. And if you can learn to recognize that when I feel stupid, that is because I'm doing something I've never done. That's because I'm stretching myself and I'm growing. That's because I'm expanding my capacity, and that is a good thing. And as you're expanding what you're capable of and you're expanding your skill sets, you're becoming better. Your business will grow because you're better. You have to get over this feeling that feeling stupid is some type of cardinal sin, or you shouldn't like it. That is something that you should avoid. If we believe that we should avoid feeling stupid, we'll never take on new challenges and we'll never grow. That's number 4. Here's the last one, the 5th and final belief that's keeping you stuck, and that is that I can't grow a business and be a good husband and a good father. This was one that I struggled with for a while, and it's one that I also see a lot of guys that are good family guys struggle with, and that is that if I go to grow this business, it's going to take so much of me and require so much of me that I can't still be an engaged dad, or I can't be an engaged husband. And the truth is it's all about what's in your heart, and it's all about what you make a priority and when you make it a priority. Now, one of the first things that I'll tell you is that perfect balance doesn't exist. It does not exist. Perfect balance does not exist even when everything is easy. Perfect balance does not exist. When you're at work, are you solely focused on being a good husband and a good father? No, you're giving your time and your energy and your attention to where you are, right? Which dispels this myth of perfect balance. Okay, then you come home. Are you focused 100% on work when you're at home? No, you're trying to engage with your kids, engage with your wife, whatever that might be. And so get this idea of balance out of your mind. Next, you do need to recognize that with growing a business, it is going to require some element of sacrifice. Now, what this doesn't mean is this doesn't mean that you have to miss all of the t-ball games and all the baseball games and all the basketball games and all the dance recitals. That is not what that means. But what it does mean is that you may have to sacrifice on a personal level. You may have to get up earlier or stay up later. But you can still be a fully engaged dad, a fully present and engaged husband, even while you're growing a business. Now, one of the things that I will tell you is that you have to work on your communication skills. You got to figure out how to, let your wife know, what are you doing? What are your plans this week? How busy are you? What can she expect from you and what can she not expect from you, right? Whatever that might look like. And if you will improve your communication skills, you actually might even have a healthier marriage while you're growing something and doing something hard, like growing a woodworking business, right? But a lot of guys just write off this idea that they can grow anything meaningful because, well, I feel called to be a good dad. I feel called to be a good husband. Therefore, I can't take on anything additional in my life. And that's just not true. Now, if you are the type of person that gets hyper obsessive and you like block everybody else out of your life and you don't talk to your wife all day and don't acknowledge your kids when you get home, that's not good, right? So it always comes down to a heart issue with something like this, but you can absolutely grow a business and be wildly successful and still be a good dad, still be a good husband. So hopefully these 5 beliefs that are keeping you stuck are now not going to keep you stuck. That was the purpose of this video. And if this is helpful to you, if this is speaking to you, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. If you've been one of those guys that's been watching in the shadows and I've never heard from you, never seen a comment from you, I would love to hear if this video was helpful to you. So with that, I've got resources in the description below. As always, I got free ebook. Just enter your name and email. I've got a low ticket course that's going to help you if you're just getting started, you're trying to get to 5 to 10,000 a month, and you're a newbie when it comes to business. The Handmade Hero Academy program is really going to help you with that. And you sell one thing as a result of what you learn there, it's going to be worth it. And then lastly is the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. If you're really ready to scale to the next level, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 per month and beyond, check that out. And so with that, I love you guys. Hopefully this video was helpful. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.